question number 1. Was the India alliance correct in bringing the no confidence motion? Remember, so far we've seen the pyrotechnics in parliament. What we don't know is what does the Indian Janta think? What do the people think? So here it is for the first time. Question number 1. Was the India alliance right in bringing the no confidence motion? Just 33% of the respondents say yes. Just 33% of the respondents. 46% of opposition voters say yes, but just 33% of the overall respondents. 51% of the respondents say no. The India alliance at this stage should not have brought this no confidence motion. Rajdeep, straight off the bat, question number 1, it just seems on the premise of the no confidence motion itself, Supriya Shrineth's party in the India alliance don't seem to enjoy the people's support.
Look, we've seen this, Rahul, in poll after poll in recent times, barring the exception of August 2021. In the post-COVID era, Narendra Modi enjoys a high degree of trust. So when you bring in a no-confidence motion against Mr. Modi, you've got to make sure that it's on an issue that's going to resonate far and wide. Let's be honest, I'm glad that Parliament debated Manipur. It brought the Northeast on the national consciousness. But the Northeast, sadly, is not India. Manipur is not India. There will be parts of the country where the issues are very different and where Mr. Modi, it appears, at least from the poll, continues to enjoy a very high level of popularity. So when you ask the question, is the India alliance right in bringing a no-confidence motion? By and large, you would think that those who are supporters of Narendra Modi have said no. So it's a thumbs down from Mr. Modi's supporters, even as those who are possibly anti-Modi, and there is a as you can see, there is a sizable group there as well, not as big as the other side, but 36% will say, the opposition should have brought it. So, the fact is, I think we are in a polarized polity where Mr. Modi enjoys a very high degree of trust. That's very clear, which is why the opposition is finding it so difficult to, in a way, break down this sort of larger-than-life image of Mr.
Even
Modi.
one-third of the opposition's voters, those who identified in this poll as being opposition voters, don't agree with the premise of bringing a no-confidence motion. The first data set suggests that only 33% of the overall respondents even agree that there should have been a no-confidence motion at this stage against the government. Supriya?
No, I disagree with your premise, and I'll tell you why. If you see the tables, and I hope you can hear me.
I hear you well. Go on, please. I hear you.
No, I disagree with your premise, because if you see the tables, and we've read charts and tables in all our previous avatars, the 66% is an aberration, and those are NDA voters, and that really topples the apple cart so much so in NDA's favor. But the reality is, this is not about right or wrong. This was the only way to get Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who chose not to appear in the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha even once, to come and speak on Manipur. So what? He spoke for 2 hours, 13 minutes and spoke on Manipur only for 2 minutes. So what? He did the what about me. So what? He disrespected the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force for their efforts in 1966 and 1974. So what? He did all of this. But the reality is, this was the only way to make the Prime Minister break his silence on Manipur, a studious silence. His apathy is for everybody to see. There was a sentence that the Prime Minister said, and I did not want to put it out, but now that it's on social media, I will just repeat it here. The Prime Minister, while replying, saying, "Wahi ghisi piti baatein." That's what he said, and I can play it for you. घिसी पिटी बातें, मणिपुर आपके लिए घिसी पिटी बातें हैं. 100 दिन से जल रहा है मणिपुर. You chose to make a rare appearance, and that too for 2 minutes. That's all that he spoke on. 2 minutes for Manipur.
So the next question is the point that Supriya is making. The Congress's argument is that this was the only way to get the PM to speak on Manipur. So I want to go across and show you the results of the second question. Was the no confidence motion the only way of forcing the Prime Minister to speak on Manipur? Here are the results on your screen right now on this key point made by the India alliance. So the question is, was this the only way of making the Prime Minister to speak on Manipur? 42% of the respondents say yes, this was the only way. 43% of the respondents say no. So very divided on whether this was the only way to get the Prime Minister to speak on Manipur or not. So on this question, let me go across to Yashwant Deshmukh, because Supriya can argue that your poll is polarized along political lines. This isn't necessarily, you know, your middle of the road, undecided voters. These are voters across the political spectrum, and because 31% plus vote for the BJP, therefore this poll even in the beginning is skewed against the Congress and the India alliance, and therefore in all the responses the BJP and the Prime Minister come up trumps. How do you respond to that, Yashwant Deshmukh?
Well, it's a representative sample. So, I mean, obviously, if the public is divided or polarized in the political lines, they will answer it in the same way. You know, it's not an NGO work. Politics is not an NGO work. People are divided and they will answer in the political line the way they have to. It is the same set of people,
Rahul,
Rahul,
that
when we
argument
asked,
is that that's how the country is. I mean, it is divided and the poll captures the division. So that I don't think is a fair criticism, because you're not supposed to go only to the middle of the road swing voter. You go to a representative sample, which is what Yashwant and the team have done.
No, my sense though is Rahul, from these numbers, clearly a large number of people have high trust in the Prime Minister and therefore question why there is a no confidence motion. However, a substantial number, and much higher here, say this was the only way. The only way to get the Prime Minister to speak on Manipur was to bring a no confidence motion. So it's to my mind, the opposition can hold on to that and say, look, this is what we've been telling you, that for 77 days it required a viral video for the Prime Minister to make one short statement outside Parliament. He was not speaking inside, so we had to bring in a no confidence motion. So if this is about perception, and this no confidence motion, Rahul, was about perception, not numbers, I think perception is at one level something that the opposition also has a little bit to cling on to, some straws.
No, but they do, even empirically. 31% vote for the BJP, 42% say this was the only way to get the PM to speak on Manipur. So 11% extra are saying that this was the only way to drag them in. 43% are saying no, this wasn't the only way to get the PM to speak on Manipur.
So the BJP can hang on to the fact that your majority of the people in this poll are saying you shouldn't have brought a no confidence motion. It's not necessary. You don't really need a no confidence motion. But a large number of people are also saying the only way to get the Prime Minister to speak is to have a no confidence motion. So both sides, in a way, have got something to build on their own respective narratives.